Eric Adams. Tell me who you are and make a stand and pick a side.
To allow them to go on the next step of their journey. They're no longer in our care. They're no longer being paid for taxpayer dollars because we took the right steps.
So let me just clarify for a second. So when we were talking about the New York City sanctuary laws, that would be for undocumented criminals, right? But then what about these people that we're talking about who are bussed in, who are still on a New York City payroll? What happens to them?
I didn't quite understand your question. You said the sanctuary law is for anyone that's in the city that's not documented. Stated you have the right to use taxpayer services. When an undocumented person walks in the store and buy a loaf of bread, those taxes he's paying if he's documented or not. So you should have the right to use the services.
So what Eric Adams is saying is that whatever taxes, you know how you go to the register and you say, okay, it's a 6% sales tax, 7% sales tax. In Michigan it's 6%. I know in Chicago it'd be like 8% and stuff like that. When you go there and they say, okay, 6% sales tax, they paying a sales tax. That's what he said. Now, he's not talking about the free money that they get in order to go and spend the money on it. He's just saying that they're paying a sales tax. Okay.
That your tax dollars are paid for. What I am saying, those who are committing repeated violent acts, they should not be in our city to be released on our streets to continue to carry out those violent acts.
Sales tax doesn't cover infantry. Sales tax doesn't cover traffic. Sales tax doesn't cover police services. Sales tax doesn't cover schools. Property tax is covered.
It's long-standing New Yorkers and migrants in asylum seekers.
Yeah, I guess my question was distinguishing that versus like the families that I see in the subway who are undocumented but clearly not a harm to society. What are you going to do about them?
We want to give them the services they need.
But we can't afford it, right? But you just said we can't afford those things.
No, we want to give them the services they need and show them the next step on the American journey like other immigrants. Immigrants have come to this city for hundreds and hundreds of years. I don't care if it's the early Irish that built our subway system, the early Italians, the early Caribbeans. Immigrants have always come to this city, but they found their way. And that's what we did to 170,000 migrants and asylum seekers. The city cannot pick up that tab. We need to put them on a pathway to find their way to pursue the American dream.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I do have to ask you about the federal investigations and the indictment against you. First and foremost, do you plan to follow through on running for re-election?
Yes, I am. I made that clear over and over again. People stated, you know, Eric stepped down, those small number of people. I stepped up. Look at the numbers and what we've accomplished in the city.
I just can't. I can't do it. This dude is a chameleon, and I don't even want to call him a chameleon. I genuinely want the best for New York City. You know, I grew up listening to Wu-Tang. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, y'all. Cash rules everything around me. I grew up listening to that. I listen to Pop. Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep it moving. I grew up on New York hip hop. Follow me and Timberlands, you know what I'm saying? Killer Bees in the building. DMX. LL Cool J. I grew up on New York music, so I want the best for New York City. It's literally the capital of the United States of America, unofficial. You know what I'm saying? I want the best for New York City. I cannot sit here and in good conscience see or think that this person actually has the best interest of the United States of America at hand. Not with the rhetoric, and then he want to sit there and smile talking about I'm running for New York City. New York. Hold y'all accountable. I'm gonna hold y'all accountable. Y'all better get it right. Y'all better pay attention to what's happening. You better get it right. Midterms is coming up. Y'all better get it right. Continue to read the super chats. Messi, what up, Messi? Says currently watching Baby Boy. AR Smitty says E up there like whoopsies, whoopsies. AJ Wise says, what prison inmate took out the football? We need Trump in there ASAP. We need the inauguration to go up maybe
The sobering details about who called 911 first.
A second grade student called 911 to report the shooting at a early time. That's so important.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We have a team of reporters spread out from Milwaukee to Madison, covering the story from different angles. Investigators just shared new information on the shooter and the timeline of how this tragedy all unfolded. Jenna Ray leads our team coverage on Shannon, minutes ago we learned that the school shooter has been identified as 15-year-old Natalie Brucknow, who also...
Oh, that's a white girl all day long. It's a white girl. I don't know any black Natalies.
goes by the name of Samantha. Police say that she did go to Abundant Life Christian School, and this morning she walked into that school with a handgun. Here are the details of the timeline police say unfolded. It started at 10:57 when a second grader made the call to 911 saying that they heard gunshots being fired inside the school. 3 minutes later, law enforcement officers
All right, I'm confused first of all, and I'm gonna get to the rest of the story, but I am confused. So, did the second grader have a cell phone? How old are you in the second grade? Somebody tell me how old you are in the second grade. I remember being in the second grade. I remember I had some Jodeci moves, I think. I was concerned about Jodeci moves. I wanted to make sure I had the proper bearings. Library. I remember Miss Bronner. Shout out to Miss Bronner. I don't know what happened, so you can shout out to Miss Bronner. You was a cool chick. Second grade. Did they have cell phones in the second grade? I don't think my daughter had a cell phone. 7 or 8 years old? Nah, no way. My daughter didn't have a cell phone in the second grade. No way. No way. That's pretty early. That's crazy.
Officers were on scene by 11:05. Police say they found Brucknow dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and a handgun. At the same time, EMS and Madison Fire were also there and started treating students and staff and clearing the school. Police say the shooting happened inside a classroom that was in a study hall period with students in all different grades. A teenage student and a teacher were killed. 6 others were injured. 2 students are still in critical condition tonight.
That's a mass shooting. I don't know what people... There was somebody in the chat earlier that said to me it's not a mass shooting. Yeah, it is. I believe it was 2 people that passed away so far. 6, 7 people were shot and it was a suicide. I think that's a mass shooting. That would qualify.
1 teacher and 3 students have non-life-threatening.
The second grade teacher called? Okay, so the second grade teacher called. Thank y'all for updating me on that. They said a second grader. Okay, second grade teacher. Got it. Thank y'all.
Issues, injuries.
This has been a rough day for our city. It's been a sad day. This is going to be a day that will be etched in the collective minds and memories of all those from Madison.
Let me get that.
Are urging parents to talk to their students, given the fact a second grader was the one who called 911. Police say it's important to talk to your kids when and how to call 911 and ask for help when it's needed. They're also urging people in the community to reach out for help if you need it. Local resources are available. And if you're battling a mental health crisis and need immediate help, you can call 988. Police say they will give their next update tomorrow at 1 p.m. TMJ4 will be there. I'm live in Madison.
Let me see if I can get some little more insights, more recent stuff about this.
Thank you for joining us here on 9 p.m. And tonight, the Madison, Wisconsin police issued a warning after a teacher and student were killed in a shooting at a Christian school.
Facebook page of the shooter's father, right here. There is a banner photo that was dated last August, and according to comments on the page, it is his teenage daughter, Natalie Rubnow, with a long gun, skeet shooting. This and numerous other social media posts and pictures are among the possible red flags being investigated tonight by police and federal law enforcement.
There are always signs of school shooting before the gun. You have reached out about putting out social media activity prior to yesterday's school shooting. We're looking to continue our online
Crime scene tape that seems to stretch across America tonight remains in place here at the Republican Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. In the minutes before the shootings, multiple social media posts from an account believed to be hers. This one, 15 minutes before the shooting started, showing a hand gesture that has been used by white supremacist mass shooters. Investigators tonight focusing on clues from the home where the 15-year-old shooter lived with her father. The front door ripped off by police evidence teams. Local police have now turned over the teen's electronic equipment to FBI techs looking for a motive that whether friends
Doors now, boys.
had knowledge that there was an attack plot or had been warned.
Look like a little boy, to be honest with
Happened
you.
yesterday. While she is seen with a long gun at this shooting club near Madison, it was a 9mm pistol police say she used in the rampage on her new school. Investigators say they want an inventory of all the guns she had access to.
If she made overt actions and overt statements that she wants to kill, and they didn't do it, that should be considered too.
Police tonight say they have not been able to verify that a 6-page declaration posted on the internet with the shooter's name on it was actually written by her. If this Google Drive linking to the announcement does turn out to be her suicide note, the declaration lays out numerous possible personal motives and attempted explanations for the authorities to investigate. The picture of the shooter at that gun range shows her wearing a black t-shirt that has the logo of the German band, favorite of one of the Columbine high school killers. They murdered 13 people in that 1990.
I'll stay on top of it. I'll try to figure out what's going on. I have been paying attention to this a few days ago, but I was, as usual, trying to wait for as much information as possible so I can make a more informed decision and a responsible conversation about it could be had. But as of right now, what they are confirming is that it was a second grader that seems to have called 911. That the person did injure at least 6 other people, and including themselves, 3 people died at the scene. So prayers up for the family, prayers up for everybody over in Madison, Wisconsin. Also saying that it was a new school that the person went to. So I'm gonna reserve judgment and conversation. And one thing that I will say is it is very difficult and it's very interesting to see young people crashing out to this extent. But again, prayers up for the family. Let me read some of these super chats and then we'll continue on with the show. I want to share one more thing with you guys. Rush King 19 says, so if I go visit New York, go in a corner store and buy a soda and pay taxes on it, I get a free hotel room, free food and health care? Well, I guess. I don't know. That time might have passed now that Trump might get in office though. Night J says, my kid's school is getting metal detectors in January. You know what's so interesting about that, Night J? I remember when metal detectors were looked at as a bad thing if you had to get them in school. Like, metal detectors was only something that happened in the inner city schools that were a little bit more toxic and all of that stuff. Now, we look and say, hey, we want metal detectors in our schools in order to ensure that kids are safe. Now, I will say this, I'm not saying no names, but I will say this. It didn't matter whether you got metal detectors or not inside of the schools, because they were sneaking them in through windows, they were sneaking them in through bathrooms, they were sneaking them in through security guards, they was getting them in after hours. So, you know, they was, for example, I'll give you an example of how it used to play out in Central schools. The weapons and the guns and stuff, obviously, you know, because it was first floor windows, and so you could sneak them into the first floor windows and stuff. But one of the ways that they got it was from extracurricular activities. So it wasn't as much security, or it wasn't as much checking. You can go in and out of certain doors and all of that stuff when you were there for like basketball practice later on or stuff like that. So when you was able to get in through extracurricular activities, you would sneak it in and it would just be in. She brought it out. So I knew people, not me. I knew people who had pistols inside of their lockers. It just wasn't a thing. Or it wasn't their locker. You would have multiple different lockers, right? So you would have one on the 6th floor, because we had, 8 floors in our building. You have one on the 6th floor, you have one on the 3rd floor, and if you was really popping, you also have one on the 1st and the 2nd floor. And so you would have different lockers. It's one that was assigned to you, and then there would be other lockers that you would see would be vacant throughout the school year, and you would go and put a lock on it, and that way it wouldn't be attached to you. And so anytime that you wanted to go and get your pistol or whatever like that, you would go get your pistol out of that locker, but you just made sure that it was on the side and didn't have any cameras. So it was a whole lot of ways, and this was back in the 90s, right? There was a whole lot of ways in which you was able to move around and get stuff done, but metal detectors back then was looked at a little bit differently. It was looked at like bad kids only got metal detectors in schools. Her parents probably didn't have the gun secured. Probably not, especially if she was a person that was into guns. Biasy Ross says glad they didn't treat that 2nd grader American and suspend her for using a phone at school. Normally get punished for doing what's right. Yoshi 504 says she was idolizing mass shooters. Please monitor your kids' online activities. Praising CEO slangs didn't help either. I'm watching everybody that praise CEO slangs. Inkster High was crazy. We had detectors for show, and it didn't stop nothing at all, Mr. Line, at all. But anyways, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I wanted to get it one more thing. I'm actually going to push the live stream till about 1:30. So I'll push the live stream block club up to 1:30. If you don't catch the live stream, then it's cool. You can just restream it. I'm gonna re-upload it and stuff like that. So I'm gonna push it to 1:30 to make sure we got adequate time to be able to go over everything and get it popping. All right. One more thing that I wanted to go on. It is a trend that is happening across social media. A trend that is happening across social media as far as layoffs. Layoffs are a thing. It is something that you cannot ignore. A lot of people are trying to ignore it. I see another trend that's still popping off, and I warned people about this earlier in the year and late last year. Stop recording yourself getting laid off. All you're doing is making yourself less attractive as a candidate for a new job.
3 miles ahead, take ramp
Because every single person that I know, or every single manager that I know, go and check your social media before they start to have a conversation with you or before they hire you. So if they can find anything about you on social media, you sitting there recording yourself getting fired, or you sit there talking about, oh, I'm getting laid off, I hate America and all that stuff. Listen, it's great for content. I know that a lot of people is not going to stop doing it, but I will tell you that it is going to make you look stupid. It is going to make you look incredibly bad. But, it is what it is. People going to do what they do. There's nothing that I can do about that. I'm going to just take it as it goes, and we just going to keep on rocking out from there. But it's a lot of people that's going through layoffs right now. And I think that there's a transformation that's really about to happen, and so we're going to have a conversation about it. And I'm going to share with you some of these people that saying that they're going to get laid off. Check it out.
255 miles ahead. Use the left 2 lanes to stay on I-5 North Pacific Highway.
To jump in a car right now. That's all I'm gonna be.
Hey, Fabio.
Hey, how's it going? Good.
Good. I got some bad news. Unfortunately, you're being impacted.
Am I happy from finally being relieved from abusive work environment? Yes. Am I happy that my Christmas shopping budget has been severely reduced? Also, I just realized that I shop way too much.
Oh, now you have the revelation.
And we are officially ending 2024 with no job, no boyfriend, no husband, no kids. And also, I did not lose a single pound in 2024.
Sound like she had a rough year. So, winter is coming. This is one of the things that I want to tell y'all. Winter is coming, meaning that I know a lot of people said that they was independent. IEDEPENDENT. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of y'all said that y'all independent. We gonna find out. We gonna find out.